update about what's happening here with the control panel at the Wheelhouse. So I have been working on removing some of the old dials and things. I mean, they're all wired up here, ready to go. I've been labeling them. They still work. These ones are going to be replaced anyway, so they just come out. But yeah, the problem is that, you know, as this ages, as it gets upgraded and it's getting upgraded again, we end up with holes all over the place. We end up with this switch here is missing. It's not even wired in. I don't know what that one was. 1, 2, 3 of those are wired in. Only one of them I know what it does. That one's broken. Yeah, it needs a bit of TLC. The other thing that it needs is a new insert here. And so the way in which we're going to do that is I figured out that I can remove this piece of wood here. So I think I can take that out, and I have a new piece, which is down being painted, but it looks a lot like that one there, which will go in. And so we're going to end up with a black helm, but we'll still have the wood highlights and the wood around the edge. I think it's going to look quite smart. And it's, you know, it's a fairly practical and, to be honest, at this point, relatively cheap solution. So I'm just going to keep working on removing all of the cabling, popping it down underneath, and we're going to give Martin a bit of a shock when he comes in tomorrow when I pulled everything apart. But, you know, I think it's worth it. We'll be able to put the dash back in and it's going to look great. Well, success. We've managed to get the panel off. It wasn't too bad a job, and that's great because now I can take this bit off, we can sand that back, re-varnish it, reuse that as a mount. I'm going to pull out the insert. We're going to mount the new black boards that we've got. This is now clear for Martin to sort out this mess. Oh, lucky him. But yeah, give it a bit of a sweep and cleaned up some stuff. Taken off, there was some trim around here, we've taken that out. So this panel here for the Victron is going to mount in here. There'll be a little gap either side, but we'll fill that in with some board. And then when we finished and paint it over, you won't know that it wasn't ever like that by design. So yeah, coming along quite nicely. Pretty happy with today's efforts. Famous last words there. So as I unscrewed that, it dropped off the back and now it's broken into 4 pieces. I'm not sure if it was, no, it was only ever fixed in the corner. So I suspect it was just glued. That's okay, we'll just glue that back together again. You'll never know. All right, so here it is. I've managed to get those panels out without doing too much damage. We did crack a little bit here. That's glued back on by the time I finish and sand that back. You barely notice it. And we've inserted one of the black ones. I haven't stuck it down yet. There is a little bit of a gap around the edges, bigger than I'd like, but that's okay. We'll fill that with a bit of silicone, and I think it will look pretty good, especially once we varnish the frame again, sanded that back and give it a good varnish. There you go, that's the new Wheelhouse console coming together. A bit of a relief. Martin arrived and was okay with the work that I'd done. Everything was still working. Just testing some systems here. It was all good. And then he'd recommended a carpenter, Simon, who's now joined the team. Simon's been working with me to design the hatch, which will go on the top of the deck for the stairs. You can see where the stairs will run, kind of where that tape is hanging off the wall. The final update this week, we completed the rear dog hatch. We've got that back on. Slight disaster when I screwed in an attachment there. It shattered the glass. That's a problem, but the whole glass is being replaced anyway in January, so. Okay, a little bit of an update on the bollards. They've all been nicely boxed in now. So you can see, when we say boxed in, basically they were open before. Now they're fully sealed along here. The water will run off and around, and yeah. Next job is priming. We've reinforced some plate around the bottom of the anchor, the windlass there, and a little bit underneath. You can't quite see back in there. And this one as well. So good job, well done. It took longer than I expected. Now it's on me to prime it. We're leaving for holidays and we'll be gone for the next 2 weeks. So I want to make sure these are protected and don't rust while we're away. One of the bits down. Kind of decided to go right up and over because there were weld marks and things. So and it was a bit worn out on the top where they've been working. So we're just going to completely refresh it. It'll all be done in the blue down to the deck, but yeah, it's looking good. And that is number 2 done. I think it's looking quite spiffy. Yeah, it's tempting to keep going and redo the deck. It's not really needed because it's going to be primed again and then covered with a final coat. So, you know, you've got to draw the line somewhere, but it is lovely seeing everything look nice and shiny. Now we come on to this. Let's get this one done. This will be tricky. Gonna have to dig around a bit underneath, but yep, shouldn't take long. Okay, and there we are, double primer on all of those spots. Obviously around the anchor or the windlass is still rusty. That's going to be done a little later on. That's going to take a little bit of time. It'll have to look very spiffy, so we'll do a couple of different colors there, but the main things are rust protected now, the new plates that have gone in. This one here, yeah, happy with that. Looking forward to getting the blue back on, but you know, bit by bit, progress is happening. And that is Delfine. As of, well, pretty much this will be the end of 2024. I will come back tomorrow and wash the decks because they're a bit grotty and we'd like to leave it clean, but we're off on holidays for 2 weeks and this will be the last video for a while. So that's it, that's the last update for the year. We are making really good progress with Delfine. There's a lot to come in the new year. We've got the builders starting, well, I guess they're starting towards the beginning of February. We've got a lot of work to go on the new hatch that's going to go in for the stairs. The electrical upgrades and solar panels will go in. So if you're enjoying watching, I hope that you'll stick along, and hope everyone has a great Christmas and enjoys your holidays. We're taking a 2-week break. We will see you in 2025. Thanks very much.